Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in Christ, today I want to talk about something deep, something divine, something stirring in the very core of your being. I want to speak to the chosen ones, to those who sense that something is shifting in the spirit. Don't you? The world may call it coincidence, intuition, or imagination, but your soul knows better. Your soul knows what's coming. It's not fear that you feel, it's awakening. It's destiny rising up from the depths of who you are, because heaven has marked you for this hour. We are living in prophetic times, times when what was once hidden is being revealed. You were not born by accident. You were placed here in this generation, in this moment, for a divine purpose. Something is happening right now in the unseen realm, and those who are awake, those whose hearts still burn for truth, can feel it. So today I want to speak into that calling. I want to remind you who you are and whose you are, because the storm may come, but the chosen will rise. The shaking will come, but the faithful will stand. And the voice of your soul, the whisper of the Spirit, is declaring it's happening. My friends, if this message has stirred something within you, if your spirit is awakening and your heart is burning for truth, then don't just let it pass by. Be part of this movement of faith and fire. Tap that like button as a declaration saying, I am one of the 99 who still believe. Leave a comment below and speak life. Share what God is revealing to your soul. And make sure you subscribe and join this family of warriors so you never miss what heaven is speaking next. Every like, every comment, every share. It's not just engagement, it's agreement. It's a sign that you are awake, chosen, and ready for what's coming. So rise up, chosen one. It's happening, and you're meant to be part of it. You were chosen for this generation and this moment. Before time began, before the stars were hung in the heavens, before your first breath was drawn, heaven already knew your name. You are not here by coincidence, not here by mistake, and not here simply to exist. You were placed here strategically, purposefully, divinely. The timing of your birth, the battles you face, the people you meet, and even the storms that rage around you are not random events. They are threads in a divine design woven by the Creator's own hand. You could have been born in another century, another land, another time, but you weren't. You were born at or now in this exact season of history because this moment requires what God placed inside of you. You carry something this world needs. Within you lies a light that cannot be duplicated, a sound that only your soul can release. The reason the warfare against your life has been so intense is because the enemy fears what you will become when you fully awaken to your calling. You may have questioned why life has been so heavy, why certain doors closed, or why some people walked away, but every moment of loss was preparation. You are being refined, not rejected, prepared, not punished. Fire you've walked through was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal the gold within you. Look around this generation. So many are lost in noise, distracted by illusions, asleep to their destiny. But even in the chaos, something inside you keeps stirring, keeps whispering, Faith, there is more. That whisper is your calling. That stirring is heaven reminding you that you are not like everyone else. You are chosen. While others chase comfort, you are being called to courage. While the world seeks approval, you are being refined for assignment. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand out as a light in dark times. Every generation faces a defining moment, a season where truth must rise, where faith must be tested, and where chosen ones must stand. This is that time. You are the answer to someone's prayer, the fulfillment of a promise made long ago. There are people you haven't met yet whose lives will change because you said yes to your calling. The gifts you carry, the words you speak, the love you show, all of it matters. You may not see the full picture, but heaven does. Every choice you make to stand in truth, to walk in love, keep going when it's hard is part of a divine story that began long before you arrived on earth. So when you feel weary, remember this truth: you were chosen for now. The same God who shaped galaxies also shaped your destiny. He placed you in this generation because there are mountains that only your faith can move, hearts that only your words can reach, and battles that only your courage can win. Your soul senses divine shifts before your eyes can see them. Deep within you, beyond your thoughts and emotions, quiet awareness, a knowing, a quiet awareness that something is changing. It is not fear, not anxiety, but a sacred stirring in your spirit. You feel it in moments of stillness, in dreams that seem more real than waking life, in sudden bursts of clarity that come from nowhere. Your soul is older than your years. It remembers the covenant made before you were born, divine promise that brought you into this world for a purpose that cannot be shaken. When the world begins to tremble, when systems fall and certainties collapse, the chosen ones are the first to feel it, not because they are special in themselves, but because they are heirs and sensitive to the voice of heaven. Long before change manifests in the natural realm, it begins in the spiritual. And those whose spirits are awake can sense the tremors of what is coming. You may not have words for it, but you can feel when something is aligning, when destiny is drawing near. It's like the atmosphere around you shifts, the same way the air changes before a storm, or how the silence deepens before dawn. Sometimes this sensitivity can feel like a burden. You may feel restless when others are calm, stirred when others are distracted. You might find yourself questioning why you feel things so deeply, why you see what others overlook. But this is not a weakness. It is a gift. It means your spirit is tuned to divine frequencies. Heaven speaks in whispers, and only those who are still enough to listen can hear it. The unease you feel is often preparation. It is God moving things into place, even when your mind cannot yet understand. Many ignore the signals of the soul. They silence that inner voice with noise, with comfort, with distraction, but the chosen can't silence it for long. There's a call inside you that will not let you settle. It reminds you that you were made for something beyond the ordinary. You may try to fit into the patterns of this world, but your spirit resists. You are wired to perceive the unseen. You discern seasons before they shift. You sense truth before it's spoken, and you feel destiny before it's visible. That's why sometimes you feel out of sync with the world, because your soul is already moving toward what's next, while others are still clinging to what's familiar. Divine shifts are not meant to frighten you. They are invitations. They call you to rise higher, to prepare your heart, to step into alignment with heaven's timing. When your soul senses change, it is heaven's way of saying, get ready. Every tremor you feel is a reminder that something greater is unfolding. The unseen realm moves first, and your soul, if you are listening, will always sense it before your eyes can see it. Awakening begins when you stop running from your calling. For so long, you've felt that pull inside you, the quiet urging, the divine whisper that keeps returning no matter how far you try to run. You've felt it in moments of silence, in times when you thought you were alone, and in the struggles that wouldn't let you rest. That's not coincidence. That's the voice of destiny calling you back to who you were always meant to be. Every chosen one comes to a moment when running no longer works, when hiding becomes too heavy, and when the very thing you've tried to escape begins to rise within you with unstoppable force. Comes a point when you realize that the discomfort you feel isn't punishment, it's awakening. The reason peace seems distant is because your soul can no longer stay where it doesn't belong. You were created for a higher path, a greater work, a deeper truth. The longer you resist, the stronger the pull becomes. The call of purpose is relentless, not because God is harsh, but because He loves you too much to let you live beneath your design. He knows the power He placed in you, the voice that needs to be heard, the impact that must be made. When you run, You delay it, but you can never destroy it. Awakening doesn't begin in the noise. It begins in surrender. When you finally stop fighting the call and turn toward it, everything begins to shift. The storms you faced start to make sense. The wounds begin to reveal wisdom, and what once broke you now becomes the foundation of your strength. You begin to see that the moments that crushed you were actually shaping you. The pain that once silenced you was training you to listen, to discern, to feel. Every setback, every disappointment was heaven's way of removing the distractions that kept you from your true path. The awakening isn't dramatic or loud. It's quiet but powerful. It's when you stop looking for validation from the world and start listening to the still, small voice within. It's when you realize you don't need to be perfect to be chosen, only willing. The moment you stop running, the Spirit begins to move through you in ways you couldn't imagine. Doors open, strength returns, and peace that surpasses understanding begins to fulfill the places where fear once lived. You no longer chase purpose. You walk in it. You no longer question your worth. You remember it. Enemy tries to keep you running because he knows what happens when you awaken. He knows that once you embrace your calling, you become unstoppable. You no longer bow to doubt. You no longer fear failure. And you no longer shrink to make others comfortable. The same fire that once frightened you, you now fuels you. You begin to rise, not because you discovered something new, because you finally remembered who you are and who you were created to be. The shaking is not to break you, but to awaken you. Every storm that has surrounded your life, every trial that has pressed against your soul, every unexpected loss or sudden change has not come to destroy you. It has come to reveal you. When the ground beneath your feet begins to tremble, it's easy to believe that something is wrong, that life is falling apart, that you are being punished or forgotten. But in the divine plan, shaking is never random. It is heaven's way of shifting you from what is temporary to what is eternal, from comfort to calling, from complacency to clarity. Shaking exposes what is unstable so that what is unshakable can remain. It's in those seasons when everything seems uncertain that your true foundation is revealed. Things you used to rely on, people, plans, possessions begin to fall away, not because you are losing, but because God is clearing space for what's real. The shaking strips away illusions, false identities, and misplaced dependencies until all that's left is what cannot be taken from you, your faith, your purpose, your divine connection to the one who called you. When the shaking begins, human instinct is to hold tighter, to resist change, to pray for things to go back to normal. But there is no going back when heaven is calling you forward. The shaking is not chaos, it's correction. It is divine realignment. The structures that no longer serve your destiny are being dismantled so that stronger foundations can be laid. You are not losing control. You are being repositioned. Storm that feels like it's tearing you apart is actually the wind that's lifting you higher. Many of the greatest awakenings are born out of seasons of breaking. The night before the dawn is always the darkest. The seed must be buried before it can grow. The vessel must be emptied before it can be filled. So when everything around you starts to move, don't fear it, listen to it. The shaking has a message. It's heaven saying, you can't stay here anymore. There's more for you. The people who walked away, the doors that closed, the dreams that shifted, they were all part of the divine shaking that leads to awakening. If your life has been shaken, it means you are being prepared. The shaking builds endurance, the fire builds purity, and the pressure reveals power. You are not the same person you were before the storm. You've learned to pray deeper, to trust harder, to see beyond what your eyes can perceive. Shaking removes the false strength of self and replaces it with the unshakable strength of faith. What once terrified you no longer holds power because you've seen that even in the shaking you were held. Every chosen one must face a shaking before they can walk in their destiny. It is the refining process of purpose. It's how heaven tests your foundation before building your future. Shaking is not your ending, it's your weapon. Purpose is your assignment. The battles you face are not meant to destroy you, but to train your spirit for the destiny ahead. Life is not a random series of struggles. It is a divine battleground where your faith is sharpened and your purpose is revealed. Every hardship, every delay, every unanswered prayer is shaping you into a warrior who fights not with fear, but with belief. Faith is not simply an emotion or a word. It is a force. It moves mountains, silences storms, and defies what the natural mind calls impossible. When you walk in faith, you align yourself with heaven's power. You begin to see that the real fight is not against people, not against circumstances, against doubt, discouragement, and spiritual blindness. Faith is the weapon that the enemy fears most because it cannot be defeated. When everything looks dark, faith still believes. When the doors seem closed, faith keeps knocking. When the world says it's over, faith declares that God is not done. That's why your faith is tested so often. The attacks against your peace, your hope, your confidence, they're all attempts to separate you from the weapon that protects your destiny. But when you hold on to faith, even in the silence, you disarm the lies of fear. You stand firm in a power that does not come from this world. Purpose, on the other hand, is not something you chase. It's something you uncover. It's already inside you, waiting to be awakened. Every challenge you've faced, every scar you carry, every lesson you've learned has been preparing you for your assignment. Purpose is not about status or success. It's about obedience. It's about doing what heaven sent you here to do, even when no one applauds, even when it costs you comfort. Purpose gives direction to your faith. Without it, faith has no aim. But when faith and purpose come together, they form an unstoppable force. You begin to live with intention, to move with conviction, to rise with courage that confuses the enemy. Your faith is meant to fuel your purpose, and your purpose gives your faith a reason to fight. Together, they create divine momentum. When you understand this, every obstacle becomes a training ground. You start to see that resistance is not rejection, it's refinement. You don't pray for easier battles, you pray for stronger faith. You don't run from your assignment, you embrace it with boldness, knowing that the same God who called you will equip you. Faith is your weapon because it keeps your eyes fixed on what cannot be seen. It connects you to the source of strength that never runs dry. And purpose is your assignment because it gives meaning to your existence, direction to your journey, and power to your prayers. You were not sent here to merely survive. You were sent to advance the kingdom, to walk in purpose, and to wield your faith like a sword forged in fire. Rise, chosen one. What's coming is already within you. The world around you may be shifting, uncertain, and unstable, but deep inside your spirit, there is a strength that has been waiting for this very moment. You have carried greatness in silence, walked through storms that others never saw, and stood in battles that were meant to break you. Yet you're still here, not by luck or chance, but because what lives inside you is stronger than what comes against you. You've been prepared in hidden seasons, refined in the fire of trials, and molded through moments that felt like endings, but were really beginnings. Everything you have faced has been training for what is rising within you now. You may not always feel ready, but readiness isn't about how you feel. It's about what's already been planted within you. The seed of purpose, the spark of faith, the divine blueprint of destiny, they've all been there from the start. You were never waiting for your calling to arrive. Your calling was waiting for you to awaken. The power, the wisdom, the courage you've been praying for are not somewhere out there in the future. They are already inside you, waiting for your agreement. Your yes, your willingness to step forward even when you don't see the full path. The chosen are not defined by comfort, but by conviction. Rise not because the world makes room for them, but because heaven has already ordained their place. Every time you choose to rise instead of retreat, you activate something sacred within you. The same spirit that spoke creation into existence breathes through your words, your actions, your life. Is why darkness has fought so hard to silence you. It knows the power that would be released if you ever realized who you truly are. You carry within you the same light that breaks chains, the same power that moves mountains, the same love that transforms hearts. You've walked through valleys not to weaken you, but to teach you how to carry glory on the mountaintop. Every season of waiting, every moment of pain, every tear that fell unseen was not wasted. It was watering the roots of strength within you. You have been growing underground in silence, in faith. And now the time of rising has come. The world doesn't see the process. It only sees the emergence. But heaven saw every moment of your becoming. That's why now, when the winds of change blow, you can stand unshaken, because what's coming is not foreign to you. It's familiar. It's part of your design. It's already within you. You are not stepping into something new. You are stepping into what you've always carried. The purpose that once felt distant is now awakening. The gifts that once felt dormant are coming alive. The answers you've been searching for are unfolding from within. You are rising into alignment with everything God spoke over your life before you even entered this world.